Peace and light, fam. Peace and light. Peace, love, and light. It has been a while. I will talk about why I have been away. Um, and I will talk about my trip home to DC for the first time in over 2.5 years. So, welcome. If you can hear me, put a number 9 in the chat. And let me know that you can hear me and see me well. I hope that you all are doing so very well. I hope you are doing your self work and progressing along. I hope you're keeping your vibrations high. Okay, so we'll get started in a bit. If you can hear me and see me, and put a number 9 in the chat. All right, I'll give you guys all the information about our trip and how it was on the flight. We actually left from Mexico. So we left from CR to Mexico and then went home to DC. So I'll give you insight on what I saw, what I felt, and what's going on, um, which I am able to see very clearly. So, uh, okay, Special K. Thank you. So you're able to hear me and see me. Thank you and welcome. Um, yeah, so we'll get started here in probably another mm, minute or so, or really a few seconds. If you guys know me and you've been following me, you know that I don't wait until the room is full. Uh, got a lot of things on my plate per usual. So we'll be getting started. Okay, so let me just get this out of the way and then let's jump right into it. All right, so I got that taken care of. Okay. All right, so let's get started because I do have things to do. Okay. So first and foremost, I want to address the reason why I have not been posting. I have given a lot of pertinent information since I started this channel. I have given so much of myself, so much of my intellectual property, so much um, as it relates to wisdom that I have acquired in my travels and my life experiences. Um, and I think I talked about this before in saying that there would come a time where I will be shutting down my throat chakra. Um, as it relates to this shift and what's coming, okay, and it's already here, but it's really about to like go down, right? And so I've been warning. I've done my part. I have done my work. I have given, like I said, given a lot, and I have pre-warned. And it's now time for me to focus on, getting myself where I want and need to be um, in this shift. So it's time for me to just totally like focus on me and my self work, me and my house. I have done my job. I have initiated. I have planted seeds for you guys to water within yourself. And so, unless it's something that's like extremely like profound and that I just have an inner pushing to really share. I will be taking this time to really just focus on my own spiritual growth and my own ascension and creating my own um, reality, and really just taking this time to do some heavy meditation, taking this time to build. I am in the process of acquiring land, and I'm so happy about it. It's something that I have been wanting to do for so very long. And it was a matter of me trying to figure out exactly where I wanted to do that. I will be doing that in not just one land, but a couple of lands. Um, I have had to change, it's a bug, the way that am planning to build my community. If you have been following me, you know that at once upon a time, I was just really being free and being open and being authentic and just asking, supporters of the channel, viewers of the channel, rather, to send in what their qualifications were so that I could, you know, use that information to build a micro community. But Spirit told me that that was not the proper way to go. And so I shut that down. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted it to happen more authentically. I wanted to do it in a more wiser fashion. It just you just don't know people you don't know, and so for me to welcome energies that I really haven't had the time to observe and spend time with and kind of pick up on their aura. It wasn't wise, and it's not the way that I wanted to go. And so, yeah. So I still would be, creating a micro community that is happening now. But I am just doing it in a more wiser, more strategic fashion. Okay. Everybody can't come, everyone can't be a part. I really need to know that the people that are a part of my community really are of like heart, really are of like mind. Um, and I really just need to be able to see their lights, really and truly, not their representatives. And that's what I felt like I was going to get doing it the way that I was doing it before. Okay, so I'm just right now, I've just been in the golden place. And if you don't know what that is the place of silence. Okay. So when you hear me say that, that is that I've been in the golden place. That means that I have been in the place of silence. Okay. So yeah, as it relates to, you know, um, like I said, just spiritual trumpets and all of that. I have done my just due. I've done my part. Not to say that I may not raise up my trumpet again, but it will be far few in between. However, I will be sharing more of my, just my experiences, and whenever I feel like I want to. So more about my travels. More again about my experiences through my travels and just my everyday life experiences. I will pick and choose what I want to share. So now, with that being said, I want to tell you guys about my trip back home to DC, um, District of Columbia, Chocolate City. I grew up there when it was really Chocolate City prior to the gentrification. Um, just such a beautiful little small town, with just a beautiful, unique culture, really, a beautiful, unique culture. As you know, our music there is go-go. I love me some go-go. So I grew up, going to the go-go's, and that's what we do. That's what we do. If you were born and reared in DC, you know the culture. And you know that go-go runs through our veins. You know, we always walk into the beat of go-go, so I was really excited to go home. Like I said, it's been 2.5 years. And that was since we moved to Tanzania. So I had not been home since we moved to Africa. And I finally got a chance to see my family. I got a chance to see my mother. And, but you know what? Actually, that was like the primary person that I was able to see because, okay, so I had the whole trip planned out initially. And I did not get to see half of my family, including the griot of the family, which was my main, like, which was one of the main reasons why I came, other than to see my mother. Like, I didn't even get to like see my sisters face to face. So I will have to go back because I still have some business to take care of. But I'll just start from when we before we got to DC. And so we traveled to Puerto Vallarta, and I posted a little small video of us there. So if you are flying from, I can say here, like in CR, I flew from CR to Puerto Vallarta. Um, they were still requiring masks. Okay. Although all of the mask mandates have been dropped in CR, all of the mask mandates have been dropped in CR. Okay. I just wanted to make that clear. But on the plane, the Latin, I think they're Latin owned airlines like Aerobus. What was the other one, Josiah? Aerobus, Volaris. I'm not sure if Mexico still does it, but they may. But like Aerobus, Volaris, there is another one that I'm missing, and I'll have to post it. They are requiring masks still, although the airlines, the American airlines, or airlines that are, that predominantly fly from America, North America, it's not required any longer. But that has not trickled down to the Latin airlines. And so, of course, if you have a medical letter, stating that, you cannot do that, then they will review that on a case by case basis. Okay. But I do want to let you guys know that a lot of the flying from Latin America, a lot of those airlines are still requiring it. Okay. So then when we got our plane ride was just fine. And then when we got to Puerto Vallarta, like if you're flying to Puerto Vallarta, just know that if you don't have a ride, if you don't have someone picking you up, and you have to take an Uber, this is what you need to do. If you do not already have a SIM, okay, and that's, your little chip to place in your phone so that you can have data and phone service. If you, and the number one, I guess, telecommunications provider is Telcel. And so I was in Mexico before. I had one and then I lost it and I couldn't find it. So number one, it's really important as you're traveling and you're getting these SIM cards, it's important to keep them just in case you visit that country again. You'll already have one and you can just stick it in your phone, and then you can, recharge and re-up on your data, so that you have internet access and phone access. Because when we arrived in Puerto Vallarta, we realized that we only had 30 minutes of Wi-Fi. You can only stay on the airport's Wi-Fi in Puerto Vallarta for 30 minutes. That's all you get. Okay, so if you are getting, you're landing and you're trying to go and get your bags, that can take a while. Sometimes your bags may not be there. And if you already have Wi-Fi, switched on, you're already using Wi-Fi that you're going to need. And then by the time you collect your bags, you will probably be kicked off of the Wi-Fi, and then you'll be there with no way to call for transportation. Okay. So if you don't already have a SIM, make sure that you do not turn your Wi-Fi on until, you have collected your bags and, you are ready to call for transportation to take you to your accommodation, hotel, Airbnb, whatever it may be. Okay. And so Uber, if you're contacting, if you like if you're going to take an Uber, Uber is not allowed in the airport. Okay, they're not allowed to pick you up from the airport. So if you are, once you've collected your bags and you've turned on the Wi-Fi now, and you're requesting your Uber, you're gonna have to walk across the pedestrian pedestrian bridge. Excuse me, a little tongue tied. Okay, so you're gonna have to walk across this little pedestrian bridge, and then you're going to take your Uber from there. It's really easy. Once you walk out of the airport, you're going to go ahead and make a left. Once you get to the end, you'll see the huge pedestrian bridge. Take your things over there, and your Uber will meet you on that side. Okay, very important. Um, Boom. If you need a SIM, go to the mall. What was the name of the mall, Josiah? But Galerías. You can go to Galerías Mall in Puerto Vallarta, and there's a Telcel there. You will just need your passport, and then it's really easy. It took me all of 15 minutes, okay, just to get another SIM. All right. So that's Puerto Vallarta. Our stay there was absolutely wonderful and beautiful. It's very warm and sunny. The beaches are great. Um, there's one part that I didn't quite enjoy. I won't discuss that here. But overall, it was absolutely beautiful. We went to the main beach that was there. Um, but we quickly left because it was just too packed. It was too crowded. The water didn't look too clean, and just the environment itself, I just wasn't vibing with it, or feeling it. And so we went to a little smaller beach there, and we just had such a great experience. Like from the time that we arrived, I'll have to pull up the beach. It's a little small little beach that we went to. So you remember the name of it? Was that the name of it? Hold on, you guys. Let me get it for you. Let me get that beach. And again, if you to be in the limelight and all of that, then um, the main beach might be like for you. So I'll pull them up. So I just cannot remember. So much has happened since we left there. It's just been a whirlwind. It really has. Um, what was the name of the beach that we went to? Okay, so the main beach is Playa de los Muertos. Okay, and that's Muertos. And so we went to that beach. Wasn't vibing very well, like in that environment. Did not enjoy that. Um, and then let me see if we can find like the beach that we actually ended up going to. It's a little small little beach. It was like just for families. There were a lot of small little families there. Oh, that's what it was. It was Conchos. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it was Conchos Chinas Beach. So it's ConchasChinas, Conchas Chinas Beach. So we went there, and the beautiful thing was, like, from the time that we hiked, like we went down this steep hill, it was hot, it was blazing. Um, my feet were burning because I took my shoes off, and the sun, just like that sand, just absorbed all of those rays, and like my feet were like burning up by the time we got to the place. and where we chose to like sit. And so we were walking and like looking for a place, and then we finally found a place where we wanted to sit. And there were other families there. And so we were kind of like going closer towards like where the water was. And this there was a woman from Venezuela, and she was so sweet, you guys. Like the moment that she saw me, she was like, "Hey, hola, ¿cómo está?" And I was like, bien, ¿y tú? And she was like, bien. She was like, come and siéntate. She was telling me, come and sit with us, sit beside me, sit beside me. But she was like by herself. And she was just like, no, you can sit here with me, because she saw that like we were going where the water was like coming up, and so she wanted me to be comfortable. She was like, it's okay, you can sit here. So I sat there and, left my things there, and then, kind of went in the water with Josiah. And then I came back and took a seat with her, and she was like feeding the birds, and she was, making small talk with me as much as she could. She couldn't, speak a lot of English, and I can't speak a lot of Spanish. But we made just do. It was just her vibe was really beautiful. And then, of course, I was looking over to like check on my son and make sure he was good. And I did not see him. He was not in the water. And I was like, oh my gosh. Now, you guys, I have not fully taught Josiah how to fully swim. Josiah thinks that he is a pro swimmer. Okay. So I was like, oh my goodness, like, where is my son? And uh, the sister from Venezuela was like, she got up with me and she was like, ah, ¿dónde está? ¿Dónde está? She was like, really concerned. And then I saw him up on top of the rocks, and I was like, oh, there he is. She was like, oh, like, I mean, it was just really, really sweet. And so, I just love that. She just had really good energy, and I just loved it so much. She was just authentically like caring, and I just love that energy. And again, every time I go to Mexico, I get that energy for the most part. I told you about the indigenous brother who just saw us, in Merida, and saw that we were in the hot sun, and he just bought us something cold to drink. He came back down the road with something cold to drink for us. So it was just beautiful to just have that kind of experience again. And so we ended up, leaving because we had to prepare our bags to go to DC. And the Uber I don't know if he was playing a game or what, but like he was acting like he was where we were, and he actually was not. And he just kept saying, I'm here, and he wasn't, right? So we were out there just waiting and waiting and waiting. And then the woman from Venezuela, she pulled up and in her whip, okay, it was a nice car. And she was like, was it she was like, ¿Qué pasó? She was like, what's the problem? And I'm like, oh, nothing, Uber, just, waiting on Uber. She was like, get it. She told me to get in her car, right? And she took us all the way home. And I mean, God, just that's the kind of energy like I'm just, like I said, I'm used to. And I tried to give her gas money, and she looked at me crazy, like, if you don't put this damn money back in your pocket. She was like, no. Like she literally like did. She was like, no, no. So I mean, just so sweet, just so kind, just so caring. And I love, like, I really enjoyed my time, in Mexico. I really, really do. And the funny part is, okay, so when we came from Tanzania, when we moved from Tanzania originally, and we went to Mexico City, and then we were, of course, in Merida, and then we went to Cancun. Okay, so we were on that side, right? But we came there like with all of our things, like with all of our bags, just thinking that we were gonna get like 180 days. And I applied online prior to arriving and I got 180 days on the online visa. But when we were on the plane, as I told you guys before, they were passing out the immigration forms. And I'm like, why would I fill this out? Like, I've already been approved. They had something for my butt. Like, so when I arrived, they were like, no, you have, fill the new one out. So fill the new one out. And I was trying to tell them, hey, I already paid for one. Like, I already paid for one. I got approved. They were not trying to hear it. And the guy ended up giving us just 30 days. So here we are with all of our things, right? And we only got like 30 days. So this time around, they gave us 180 days. Like, we didn't even ask for it. Like, so it really is like, if you're going to Mexico, as you know, like some months ago, they really had stopped giving out the 180 days all willy nilly. It used to be a given, but they just stopped doing that. And so I guess we got caught up in that change. Me and a lot of other people were talking about it, like on social media. So essentially, it really just depends on who you get when you arrive in May. So this is what we had to do. We had to, when we came from CR, we landed in Mexico City because we had to take two separate flights, but they weren't a part of the same trip. So we had to purchase a separate ticket to get to Puerto Vallarta. So we had to go through immigration at Mexico City. And then we had to take our other flight to Puerto Vallarta. So you have to go through immigration, then you're going to have to collect your bags, and then you're going to have to, go through security, okay, just to get to the other side to catch your flight. Like, if you buy two separate flights, like that's what you're going to have to do. So you need to make sure that like you make time to get through immigration, to get your bags, and to get through security. But yeah, so then she was like, how long do you need, right? And I was just like, I don't know. I was like, 30, I was trying to say like 30 dias. I was like 30 days, whatever. And she was like, huh, what? And I was trying to communicate with her. And she was like, okay. Right? I didn't even have time to look at the card because we were trying to catch our flight to Puerto Vallarta. Then I finally looked at it once we were through security, and she gave us 180 days. That's like, what, 6 months. So I was like, the time that we did, like, that we just could not use the whole 180 days because we knew that we had to go home to DC. Like, I'm like, look at how this all plays out. It was just so funny that she gave it to us. So, but yeah, so it depends on who you get, okay? Like, who you get when you arrive, in Mexico City. Now, when you go to other places in Mexico, I've heard that they're more lenient, and they more than likely may just go ahead and give you the 180. Okay. So we did that. Again, we arrived in Puerto Vallarta. It was at first the vibe, I was concerned. Okay. Because when we got across the pedestrian bridge, we were welcomed by two locals in a fist fight. Like, I don't know. The guy must have been, I mean, first of all, it was alcohol involved. You can clearly tell. Like, the guy was like inebriated. Well, both of the guys. And one of the guys did something to the woman because the woman was like fussing at him and cursing him. Okay. It was a local woman. And the man, that I don't know who he was to her, but he was defending her, and he got upset at the guy who was vexing her, and they just started to fight. I was like, what the hell? Okay. So I was like, oh God, what? I don't know about this, right? But once we got away from that area, and we got to our Airbnb. Our first Airbnb was in a nice area, but the Airbnb itself, no. And that's because it was and I take partial responsibility. And that's because I was running, like, I was on the plane, like, things were going so fast. And I just did not have time to really like analyze all the Airbnbs like I normally do. We had to get up at 3 a.m. And I had done a lot of work prior to that, that night. And so I was exhausted. And we finally got through, there's a lot of protocols at the airport. And by that time, I was literally walking onto the plane and I was like, I've got to get us like a place to stay. And so, literally, while we were waiting to take off, I was trying to go to the places as quickly as possible, looking at the reviews. And um, the place we ended up in, it wasn't to my standard. Okay. To each their own. Nonetheless, the neighborhood was nice, okay? And it wasn't a dump. It just wasn't up to par to my standard. It wasn't aesthetically pleasing at all. The outside was, but not the inside. So the next Airbnb that we went to was beautiful. Oh, it was gorgeous. And it was in an area called, I think, Versailles. So it was in this little low key area, but the unit had a terrace going all the way around, and it was all yours. So it was going all the way around. The place was very clean. It was very colorful. It was very vibrant. It had a lot of like authentic Mexican cuisine within walking distance. There was a La Comida, which is like one of their main grocery stores. You could walk if you wanted to, but it was like a 5-minute Uber ride as well. They have everything that you could want and need. I mean, they sell mattresses, they sell clothes, they have fresh fruits and veggies, and then they have cooked food. So, like I said, anything you could want, you could find it in La Comida. One thing I really appreciated when we went to when we were in Puerto Vallarta, the difference of Puerto Vallarta and our time in Merida. They didn't give a damn about no mask. Okay, so if you go there, you don't have to be concerned about that. We literally got in our Ubers um, with no mask. We went grocery shopping. We went in any stores, and we went in the malls. What is it, La Isla, which is just another beautiful mall. It's like an outdoor type of mall, so you're not inside of a building. They're like individual stores. It's very bright and sunny and vibrant, and I really enjoyed that mall in that area. I love it. It was aesthetically, it was absolutely beautiful. Galerías Mall is another mall there, but it's like your typical, indoor kind of closed in mall. And it has, you can find some good finds in that mall. In particular, they do have a store there that sells local pieces, like local necklaces and bracelets. And I bought some beautiful necklaces and bracelets. They're gorgeous. So definitely visit the mall if you want to find like local art and design. Um, so yeah, we enjoyed it. Like once we got from that part and when we first landed, it was beautiful. If you go to Galerías Mall, there is a Walmart, there is a cost wait, Walmart and Costco, right? There's a Walmart and Costco like right there, like literally within walking distance. Like when you leave outside of the mall, it's to your left. Um, so yeah, we really just like were vibing, and like it was felt good to walk around and to just be with the people. At night, it just has this beautiful little tropical breeze, and you got your little dress on and your sandals or your shorts, and it was a beautiful vibe. It really was like a beautiful vibe. So yeah, we enjoyed Puerto Vallarta. We had some good eats. Maria's Baja Well, it was just Baja, right, Josiah? Yeah, Maria Baja. You have to go there if you're in Puerto Vallarta. Oh my gosh, the tacos. So they were so good. They were really so good. And it was this sauce that they had. I don't know the name of it. They had many. They literally set this long little like wooden carrier in front of you with like is at least 7 different sauces. Now, Josiah can take heat. Okay. I can't. I can do sour stuff, but heat, I don't enjoy it. I cannot enjoy my food when my mouth is on fire. Those that can do that, you're special. Kudos to you. But I can't. Okay. So I stay away from those like really, really type of like spicy type of sauces. But what I do love is something that has just a little hint, of heat. And I mean, just a little hint, but that's sweet and like sour, right? At the same time. And they had a sauce that was like that. And I put it on my tacos, but the tacos, they were just perfect by themselves on the corn, the maize tortilla. I mean, it was so good. Okay. Just so good. The vibe in Puerto Vallarta is extremely laid back. There are a lot of locals. They have again like where that main beach is, where there are a lot of expats. But like outside of that, there are a lot of locals, and again, they're just very sweet, loving, and welcoming. I mean, we didn't have any problems as it related to safety. And even when the guys were fighting, I mean, I grew up in DC, so I had my own share, and I and I witnessed, my own share. So, and it wasn't like violent. It was just like, half the time they were missing each other because they were drunk. So, yes, but other than that, the vibe is just really beautiful. It's really like laid back, just beautiful place. So from there, we caught our plane to DC. Now, when you're inside of the airport in Puerto Vallarta, some may say like one person on our way to DC, the guy at the counter, was like, oh, in the airport here, you have to have the mask on because I didn't have one on. I was like, well, for what? When it's not required, like in the States. And he was like, I know, but here and just in the airport, and then when people get on the airplane, then they take them off. Okay, then that's stupid as shit. Like that's dumb as hell. No, I was like, okay, paying it no mind. Okay, so you don't have to have it on the plane. And we didn't. No one was wearing it on the plane, so no one was wearing them anywhere in any of the airports in the States. Like it's just not even a thing anymore. What was required for us to fly into the States? We, of course, they were still requiring a PCR or antigen test. We opted, of course, we're not having anybody putting anything up our nose. And so we opted for the antigen, okay, where they can just take a specimen from your mouth and do it that way. They also have in Mexico where you can have someone come to your house and take the specimen, okay, and that may be a better option. Okay, so that was required. And there was an attestation form that they give you at the airport saying, you attest that, the results are legitimate, that you don't have, that C thing, whatever, that poison, okay, or that virus. I'll say that, the virus. So that's that. That was all that was required. Those were the 2 things that were required. So again, if you are leaving from a place like Mexico, it may behoove you to have someone come to your home, wherever you're staying and have them do the test there. Okay, it's not expensive for someone to do that. I think it's like 100 USD. Okay, all right. And that's it. Those were the two things that were required. So the flight was wonderful, was great. We arrived in DC, and it's supposed to be like pre-summer, so it's at the end of spring. I thought it was good. Here I am. I have my tropical clothes on from being in Puerto Vallarta. It was cold. Like, we arrived at nighttime. And even then, like, it's normally like hot. Like, it was cold. I mean, it was cold, and then the next day it was like no sun. Let me say, the whole time we were there, the sun did not really shine. And that was really odd because at that time of year, it's normally, like I said, blazing hot. So it was really dreary and just dark. And it was just odd, when we arrived. And things are hella expensive. I'm not even going to talk about the amount of money that was required for us to stay just for 6 days. Okay. A crazy amount of money. Airbnbs were averaging, none of them were like, they were like 150 per night. Like, that was the lowest amount. And this was throughout the whole DMV. And for those of you who don't know what the DMV is, that's DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So just in all of those places, I mean, it was 150 and up, okay, per night. That's what it was. So if you factor that in, even like for the hotels, I mean, they were like 180 and something like that per night. Even when you were away from the city and going to like Metro DC, it was like so expensive. And so, yeah, it was crazy. If you have family that you can stay with, it would behoove you to do that, like to stay with them. Yes. The vibe in DC, it was just really, like I said, dreary. It was weird. I could feel the shift like there, like in the air. And the gas prices, oh my gosh, crazy. Everything was just crazy expensive. Like a bottle of coconut water was like $5 or more. I mean, just inflation is there. Like, it's there. And I mean, just the short time that I stayed there, it just made me think about, my family that's there and other people that are there, like how they're surviving, just like seeing the struggle, the financial struggle, and just the impending, just the effects of the shift itself, and just the impending things that are about to come. One thing that I realized, like on the apps, like I think I told you guys already before, like the Ubers and all of that, like none of them are accepting cash. Even now, like even when I was in Mexico, I don't really use Uber. I use their local, like if I need to order something and I don't want to go myself, I use their local delivery service, which is Rappi. I really love them. They're really quick. They're really efficient, and they take cash. Okay. They are really shifting away from cash. And I'm noticing that particularly on Uber and Uber Eats. Like, they do not want you using cash, and cash is an option. But when I select cash, like even now that I'm back home and I select cash, there's an error message saying we cannot process, even though it says that they accept it first, and there's a certain amount that they only accept it for, right? But even when you're under that amount, they still the app will generate an error message saying that we cannot process your order. So they're shifting into that. They're telling you, they can use a digital form of payment. It's already here. Okay, it's already here. In a minute, it's not even in a minute. I saw that there was a struggle for everybody when I went home. People were not able to, really make it. When I went to get my hair done, we were having a conversation in the salon, and a sister is like a supervisor. She's a nurse supervisor, and her husband owns a company. And she was like, "It's a struggle. Like we feel like I feel like we don't even own a business." Like she was like, "It's just getting so hard to like keep our heads above water." And she's like, not the only one. Everybody was talking about it. And I'm just like, if y'all don't get it together and like start your little mini communities, because you're going to need it. You already need it. You already need it. Um, as far as the supplemental programs like the Section 8 and all those kinds of things, that's about to be done away with. You better prepare yourself. Those things are not going to be available for very long. Okay? So, even there's even an issue, there's an issue with unemployment. People not getting their unemployment in DC, like taking months upon months. And not only in DC, I just talked to someone just last week, and he's like, it was 6 months. They of course they finally paid him out in a lump sum, but 6 months, the man was almost homeless. Okay, he had to sell his car and everything. So all of these like fallbacks, these things these programs that we've been able to fall back on, all of those things, they're already having issues and problems. Okay, because a lot of them are severely understaffed. People are deciding to retire. People during the shift again have decided to go and prepare and retire and do their own thing. People selling time for payment. People are pretty much over that. They see the system for what it is. And so you just have these manpower shortages, and me being in HR, I see it. I mean, there are companies that have over 800 requisitions open. That's crazy. So, you have a shortage there, and it's just it's already here, and it's just going to it's going to absolutely get progressively worse. It is. I mean, that is what I felt when I went home. I felt suffering. I felt a dark cloud. That's just what I felt. And I was I was just like, I'm ready to go. I didn't, like I said, I didn't even get to see all of my family because as the days were going by, and I also had some business that I had to take care of, and I'm still not finished taking care of that business. But I wasn't even able to see like all of my family and have this big gathering that I wanted to have. But I was just getting sick and tired of it. It was kind of like that same feeling when I went to Texas, um there are some beautiful moments and parts, but there's just this dark lingering like cloud, of impending judgment that I just felt so heavily when I was there. Again, just the financial burden, even it just took away from everything. Like I spent a crazy amount of money. Okay. And it was mostly just for, food, accommodations. We ordered breakfast from a place. You guys, it came up to like $50 because the delivery fee was like $15. Like Uber is, and that's Uber Eats, like, because that's like the primary app, that, and what's that other one? Um, what's the other app? They're all like upping their prices. Like, so it's just better to just prepare, make sure that you're growing your own stuff, making your own stuff, all this stuff, you guys, that you order. Of course, we do it for convenience, but you can make this stuff probably even better in your own home. And it's probably best that you just go ahead and do that. I'm sorry, I have to check and see like what everybody's saying. Hi, Desir. Hello, Mahogany, long time. So you're revisiting Mexico. I heard plenty um Black Americans are there. Do you plan to go back to Mama Africa? Um, do you see this recession is planned and it's sickening? Of course, I mean they all are. I mean, we the Federal Reserve, like, there's money being printed. So I mean, you can never run out of money when you're printing the money. Of course, it's planned. Um, so we got to prepare. It's not the first time. Do I plan on going back to Mama Africa? Yes, I plan on visiting. Um, I plan on visiting a few countries that I was supposed to visit when I went my first time. Well, my second time around when I lived in Al Capilan. And so I still do have a desire to visit those places. And so I will, but it'll probably be a good while before I go back to visit Al Capilan. Again, things can change and shift, but at this juncture today, it will probably be a while. I have another place that is in my heart to go and visit. And so I'm planning that as we speak. So that's to answer your question, DC. I hope you're so well. Um, but yeah, I mean, literally, like, that was the feeling when I went home. Um, is that, judgment is there, things are progressing along. And there are hard times. There are hard times that are like harder times because hard times are already here, but there are harder times ahead and they're coming. They're coming. Um, and I don't know if like I mentioned this before, but just even I'm feeling heavily like the days are going by so quickly, yeah? Like so quickly. Like I'll wake up and I wake up early. Okay. So I wake up at like 5 a.m. That's if I'm not already awake. For years, I was being awakened at 3 a.m., you know, 3 a.m. And I get up and do my meditations and, do my chants and things like that, or, just look out and just do whatever it is the spirit, I felt like I wanted and needed to do. Right. Because there was a reason why, like, I would wake up at that time. But lately, I have been called to turn in very early. And so I get up very early. And it's like by the time I get up, I'll blink my eyes and then it's like the day is over. Literally, that's how I feel. I don't know if anybody else is feeling that way. Let me know. But literally, like I get up and then it's like before I know it, it's like, oh my gosh, the daggone day is done. So time is, disappearing. It's going away. And so yeah, it I definitely feel I definitely feel the shift, and I'm just grateful that I'm able to prepare. And like I said, just preparing our land and getting to work and doing what we have to do, and that's really my laser focus right now. That's my laser focus. And I just, truly hope that you guys, are doing what you're supposed to be doing too. So I wanted to tell you guys lastly about the gutter snipe. Okay. This female demon that I met, that I encountered, rather, it wasn't a meeting at all, that I encountered on my way home. So we had to get up again in wee hours of the morning to get back home to CR. And so there was this young lady that was like beside me, and she was on the phone talking to some guy or whatever, and she was checking in. And I was doing my check-in with Josiah. Okay. So she was like to the left of me doing her check-in on the machine too. So I ended up having to use the ladies' room, and we had to see the counter agent because they wouldn't allow us to check in. And so I told Josiah to just go ahead and get in the line. while I go and use the ladies' room. And so I saw my son walking, towards the line, and then I saw the young lady kind of like trailing behind him. And then I go to the ladies' room, right? And so then I come back out and I see that my son is in the line. And so my son is in the line here, and the young lady is off to the side like this, not in the line, right? So as the line, like progressed, we moved up because we were all in the line, and she proceeds to come from the side and to get in front of me and my son. And I must say, just before like she did that, I was truly about to say, "Oh, sis, you can come right here." Right? But she ended up getting getting in front of us like, "Oh, yeah, I'm in line too. Okay, thanks." So let me say this. So growing up in DC, it wasn't a matter of, when, like, if you would fight, it was when. You know what I mean? It was a given. And the weak did not survive, okay, in DC. And unfortunately, you know, DC was a beautiful place for me. My family's been there for a very long time, generations upon generations. Like I said, we have a very unique and beautiful culture. But I also grew up in DC when it was the murder capital, unfortunately. And I saw a lot of horrific, horrendous things. Okay. And I am sugar and spice and everything nice until you take me there. And so I used to have a very short tolerance and fuse for disrespect. And that is why I got into all of the fights that I got into. And I've been in fights with both female and males, in school. And so I used to have a really short fuse for disrespect because I'm one to really try to really respect everyone. I really do. Very quiet, very humble. And so when you do that to me, I take it very personally. And so in my younger day, it's like, well, let's go. What's up? Like, what's up? Right. And since I've become a mother, I have tried to tame that monster. Okay. There is a balance there. Okay. Love and hate, it's the same thing. It's just, on different ends of the spectrum, the polarity spectrum. Okay. So it's a balanced thing, to be both loving, but then to also express your anger. There's nothing wrong with that as long as it's being done in a righteous way, right? So if somebody is, provoking you, or they're, testing you, they're being disrespectful, they're, of course, if they touching you, that's you asking for an ass whooping, period, right? So she comes in, from the side, and here I am with my son, and I'm like, what are you doing? I was like, you weren't even in the line. You were off to the side, right? And she's all rah rah. Okay. I was in line and I was trying to be a lady about it. I was trying to be total lie. Total lie. She literally like just got in front of us. I don't know what part of being a lady that is. Using vulgar language. There's none of that are characteristics of a lady, and of being a classy lady at that. Okay. And so I'm like, you know what? I said, I have my son here. I said, so I said, you really trying your luck. Cause I have my son here. Um, yeah, and I see your son is there. So won't so just go ahead then and just stay in your place and show, you got your son here. Then just make sure that you be a good example for your son. And I'm just like, I said, but if he wasn't here, I would beat your ass. I would beat your ass. Like certain people need their ass beat. They just really do. And I had this same encounter when I was in Africa and Tanzania. And I talked about this in another video with this particular young lady who seemed to have some sort of mental aversion. And but then using that as an excuse to act out and to act a natural fool. And because of that, people giving her a pass, and her trying me, and me giving her too much of a pass when she accosted me at a cafe, in Tanzania, because my thought was, again, I'm a mother. Okay. I am a mother. So here I am in a land, and I've been able to see some things and see how the police work. And I'm thinking multiple things about my son. What's going to happen if I F this person up? And I feel like people really try you when you're really trying to be calm, cool, and collected. And I just want to put the message out there that the one that's all rah rah, that's the one sometimes you need to be concerned about. Meaning the one who is being calm and who's being collected, that's the one you don't want to try. Okay? And again, just being a womb man in itself, you're supposed to always embody Ma'at. So here I am getting ready to let this sister come and actually just get in front. Then she starts to act a nasty, natural fool, just like a gutter snipe, just like a ghetto bird. And then the man on the phone, I'm wondering if he has any wisdom. Because I'm sitting up here like, do you even hear her? And do you even know now who you're with? I feel sorry for you if this is who you've chosen. Be careful who you cross. Be careful who you disrespect. You need to be really, really careful. Because either you're going to end up with your ass beat, but also in these times, you need to be careful. You don't know who you're going to end up meeting. With what I'm building, I'm not going to have any of that. Any of that type of energy, you're not welcome. If you come on my land, if you come to my doorstep, I'm going to turn you away. I am. I don't want that energy around me and in my community. You're not welcome. Let me make that very clear. And what's about to happen, again, you never know who you're going to need and who you will see again. This is why it is said, do not cross a brick, do not burn a bridge that you may have to cross again in the future. You don't know who you're going to need again. You don't know who you're going to see again. And I'm telling you, I have seen it, right? Where people have been so disrespectful, so nasty. And then here it is, they need me. Here it is, or they see me again and I'm in a position to help them. And then they're sitting there looking stupid. We all make mistakes, but some people are just plain old nasty and ugly. And that is what I meant like that day, right? So I was trying to really keep my composure because it's hard for me to explain. It's like I felt like I was already going out of my body and punching her in her face because she was way out of pocket, right? But then I'm like, okay, but my son is here. I know the police, the marshals are right there. Who knows what can happen. That we can miss our flight, not even just miss our flight, but like I could potentially, be locked up, whatever, right? So I had to make the best decision, you know. But just be careful, and it's always most likely, most often, excuse me, females. You know, a lot of you all, you need to check yourself. Y'all some nasty, nasty spirits. You really are. And since the whole nation revolves around you, it makes me feel very hopeless to know, for the future, and to know that these types of women are rearing our children, are bearing our children, are bearing the nation, both male and female. And then you sit up here and you wonder why your children are menaces to society. It's because of you. You don't have any respect, and therefore your children don't have any either. You are nasty and you are disrespectful, and that's why your children are the same way. And you burden the nation with your children, who then perpetuate that in the next generation and the next generation, all because the matriarch was out of balance and out of pocket. This is what it is. We were having some conversations. Like I said, I got my hair done. I got it cut. If you don't know, I was born with silver hair. My whole family was. My son has silver hair down the middle of his back. And so I needed to have my hair treated because I really wasn't able to do that while I lived in Africa. And so I had my hair cut, I had it treated, and I got it pressed, right? So it was all flowy and beautiful, whatever. And even when it's not flowy and it's, defying gravity, it's even beautiful then. I love it in every way, right? So I went and, got my hair done. But then by the time I got back to rainy season in CR, it was like, it was never done. So back to the braids, my friends. But yeah, we were talking in the salon, and the women were saying, the sisters were like, oh, well, we can't trust our men. And there was one sister in particular, and she was saying how she was cornered into getting the poison, right? And she's in the healthcare field, and she said, I have a fiance, and he told me that I didn't have to do it, that he would take care of everything. And I said, well, then why did you do it? She said, because I don't trust him. I said, why not? She said, because I've never had somebody that I could depend on. I've been a single mother. And I said, wow, now that is profound. And it's really sad, but that has nothing to do with that man. It has everything to do with her. And I told her, I said, so you did something that hurt, because it hurt her adversely. She literally passed out. Okay. She passed out while she was at work, and she almost died. So she put her life in jeopardy because she cannot trust her fiance because of her own inner scars that she has not healed. The man said that he would take care. And instead of her believing him and giving him the opportunity to show her, she allowed herself to be consumed by her past hurts and the failures of previous men that she was in a previous relationship with. And she decided to do something that could have taken her away from her children. All because she decided not to trust her fiance. Women, we got a lot of problems. We really have a lot of issues and problems. And that is why our nation is in the state that it is in. It is you, woman. It is you. And I've seen this time and time again of women thinking that them being, that being nasty, like they being cute. You're not cute. Let me just make it very clear. Being nasty and disrespectful is not cute. It can get your ass beat. It can get you hurt. And it can leave you out in the cold when you need help. Because you never know when you might need help from that person that you're being disrespectful to, thinking that you're being cute. I've seen it. It's why I roll solo dolo. Women, you can be very spiteful. You can be very jealous, very envious, and very insecure. And if you don't fix those breaches within yourself, you will not make it to the new earth. You will not make it. That is low vibrational behavior. And like I said, you're living in a time now where you're really going to need to hold on to your sister and your brother. You're really going to need to hold on to them. You're really going to need their help. You're really going to need their support. But your behavior, your disrespectful behavior can have your ass out in the cold. Watch yourself. Heal yourself. Fix those breaches of insecurity and envy, of spite and being mean for no reason at all. You need to fix that shit. Sister to sister. It's not cute, boo. It's not cute. I'm so tired of seeing it. I'm tired of experiencing it. Be careful. I always told my son that when we were watching the news, which is we don't indulge anymore, but when we were, and I would see one of our sisters and brothers were like, murdered or killed, and or something adverse had happened to them. And I would always see the family, the mother, and she would be, weeping. And she would always say how wonderful, her child was. And I would always tell my son, I said, I wonder if these parents really know their children. Because so many are in denial about who their children really are. Right? If you know yourself, then you know your child. You're the one that rears that child. You are the one that chooses what type of environment that child is in, what that child is exposed to. And so you should very well know your child, right? So I don't believe in all of those situations, that the child was the way that the parents perceived them to be. I think that sometimes it definitely there was a false perception. I see a lot of parents and they point their finger at their children and they say, "Oh, my child is I don't know, bad," or "My child is, my child or children, are disrespectful," or and this and that, and it's just like, well, who did they learn it from? Who did they learn it from? Yes, sometimes children can pick up things on either side. Even if it's not you, it could even be the father. Like even in my son, I see things that characteristics of his father come out of him, and his father is not even around like that. But I see it. And when I see it, I correct it. And even maybe some of the things that he may have seen in me, I correct that in my son because I love him. And so, women, you are responsible for the nation. So please watch your mouth and please watch your mind. Mind your mind and your behavior. I've seen you in action. Whether I've had a personal experience with you, with a female demon, or I've watched one in action. I've seen it. I see it too often in my comings and in my goings. I people watch all the time. I've seen women, a woman will walk into a space and I've seen women welcome her with this. What is that? That's not a welcome. That's not how you greet your sister. Don't even know her and you already have an attitude. You're already being nasty and she hasn't even said or done anything to you. Watch yourself. You never know who you're going to need. And the universe is watching you. And so you're going to get back what you put out there. Just know that. This is why I don't fool with too many folk at all. Again, normally it's me and my son, or I'm solo dolo, and I'm so happy. That way, of course, welcoming my husband, but outside of, that completes my family. But outside of that, I mean, people are really, especially women, very, very messy. And I don't want any parts of it. It just makes me sick. So I want you to know that you're not cute. And you need to really check yourself if you are exhibiting said characteristics. Okay? So, yes, we are in a beautiful time, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of hardships, but we're in a beautiful time, and just continue to do your work, beautiful ones. Again, create your micro communities. All right, rediscover your true self and who you are. Be kind and beautiful and loving to one another, but also be in balance. You don't have to take foolishness. You don't have to take disrespect. You don't. Okay? You can check that at the door. Okay? Do anything to maintain your peace. It's so vitally important to protect your peace. Okay? So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to share our travels. I wanted to share, why I haven't been on in a while, that I'm just really taking this time to, focus on me, but I will be sharing other things, right? Um, I will be sharing some other things. I have some great things in store, and I'm just not going to talk about them. Okay. I'm going to be doing a giveaway um, to one of my subscribers. And so if you are, in need of, wanting to escape and transition, outside of the matrix, um, I will be doing a giveaway of 200 USD towards a plane ticket to get to your destination. Okay. So you all can write me at Journey Through Alkebulan and let me know why you think you deserve um, to have the ticket. Um, I will be purchasing, the ticket. So it has to be, for 200. I'm sorry if it's a family, that's probably, it may not work, but if it's for like an individual, if I'm able to increase it, if I get some more, if I get, other donations in, then I will do that. I will let you know the giveaway date. But if you would like to be a participant, please do write me at journeythroughalkebulan@gmail.com. Let me know when you want to get to your destination, where you're going. Tell me a bit about yourself and why you're making the transition, outside of, the US. So I want to help you get there. All right. So, okay, that is it, you guys. It's late here, and I have some other things that I need to do to prepare. It's always good chopping it up with you all. I will be back, and again, especially for the giveaways, I'm really excited about that. So let me just check the chat and see if you guys have any more questions before I call it a night. Let me see. Um, okay. So yeah, I don't see any more questions. I'll make a community post about the ticket giveaway. Um, and so like I said, I'll put all of the pertinent details about it on there. So that's it. Okay. So until next time, you all be good, 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 good. All right. See you guys.